Morning, folks. This is the Home Handyman. I'll talk to you a bit before I go to work today, and we'll have coffee and questions at the coffee. And I had a list of questions, and they related to workbenches. I had a lady at work that wanted me to build her one, and I said, you know what? It's cheaper all the way around if you just buy one. And so I took a look for her on both Amazon and Harbor Freight because she just wants it for the inside of the house in a back room to do different little hobbies on. And so I'm going to put up a couple of pictures, and I want to go through some questions and answers from forum and everything that I've researched that might help you if you're deciding to do the same thing. Give me a minute, I'll throw them up, and then we'll start talking about them. Okay, I put up all three pictures. Now, here's the interesting part. The one on the far left upper corner is off of Amazon's website. The one in the middle and the one on the right are off of Harbor Freight's. These are all identically the exact same workbench. It's made by Windsor. The dimensions are 60 inches by 20 inches, which, okay, that's 5 feet by 1.6 feet, so 1.5 feet, in width and 5 feet long. So it's a decent workbench size, but the interesting thing is, what's the difference between the two? Well, on the Amazon website, it sells for $193.43. On the Harbor Freight website, it's $159, but they're on sale right now for $127.99, I think, somewhere right around there. Even if it's not, you can use one of the 20% coupons and get it for that same price, that same sale price. So it's the exact same bench. There is no difference. It's made by the same company, Windsor, and it's interesting because one will sell it for much more. So anyway, she ended up getting the one from Harbor Freight, of course. And the thing is I wasn't with her. So there was somebody out there. I don't know if Harbor Freight, some of the Harbor Freights will deliver for like $20 or something, but she had somebody get it to her house for her, and we went over, we unboxed it. And my advice to you, she didn't have that problem, but a lot of people have broken parts in this great big box with all this stuff in it. So if you're loading it up on your own truck out at Harbor Freight, open it up right then. Just open it up and look at everything real closely and see if you see anything that's broken, because if you do, you can return it right that second rather than have to take it back after you get it home and take it apart and start looking at it. So anyway, got it there, got it in the garage, got it all apart. Called me, said, oh my God. And I go, wow, it's not that bad. Let me, I'll pop over. So yes, one of the biggest complaints from all the websites and everybody is the instructions are very poor that come with it, but it's doable if you spend the time with it. What I would tell you to do, what a lot of people do, take a look at some YouTube videos. There's at least a couple of them out there, if not more, where people actually show you step by step how they assembled it. Now, that's what I did. I watched the videos so that it would go a little quicker. Somebody said, well, hey, how long does it take you to assemble this thing? Well, anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. It just depends on, you're not pressed for time. I mean, it took us somewhere in that time frame to get this thing totally assembled and working correctly. So 1 to 2 hours. And do definitely watch those videos. They will help you immensely on do's and don'ts as you put it together from other people that have already done it. Okay, so what are the other questions? Let me take a look here and see what the next questions are, and I'll answer all of them for you that you people have posted or that we've talked about. One moment. Okay, the next question is, what tools do you need to put this together? Well, I would tell you, and I had my tools with me, have a drill, have some drill bits, and have a hex wrench with you. Those things, you're definitely going to need to put it together, and it'll make it a lot easier if you've got a cordless drill, one that's got a clutch on there, because you don't want to over tighten and strip things out. So the ones with a clutch, I think, work the best, because you can set it way down so that you do not strip those screws, because that's the last thing in the world that you want to do, strip them. So that's my advice on that. Next question. The next question is, can you add wheels to them? Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, that's interesting you brought that up, because she wants to be able to roll it around. And so I told her that's not a problem. I haven't done it yet, but Harbor Freight sells a lot of really good casters. So you can easily put them on the bottom of this. It'll raise it up a little bit more, which isn't a problem for most people, and it's actually nice. You can grab it with one hand, spin it around, roll it around. Makes it a lot easier. And so we'll do that here in the near future, but yes, you can. On the assembly, okay, what I would do is It doesn't have to be the particular product that I use. I use Weld Bond glue. I had some with me, and so everything that we put together with those screws just for the added strength. And I think it turned out really good because I got the advice off of the website that it would be a really good idea if you use some type of glue when you assembled it, because it will be a lot more solid when you're done. And that way you don't have to worry about these screws stripping out and stuff again. But be careful and use a drill, use a cordless that's got a clutch. It'll save you a lot of headache. But yeah, no, I use glue definitely. Another suggestion on here, I didn't think about it, but it's a good idea. If you take a look at the picture on the far left or far right, on those sides, yeah, you can put pegboard there. Just cut it with you could use a circular saw, table saw, or whatever you have. And if you put it on there, then you can get the little hanging brackets and you can hang tools and stuff like that. And I'm going to do that for her too, because it's going to be like a hobby workbench, and that would work great for her. She could just, on both sides, I think I'm going to put it on both sides for her, the pegboard, and then she can get the little hooks out at Harbor Freight. They're very inexpensive. She can hang all of her tools and knickknacks, that she doesn't want to put in the drawers or what have you. So it gives you that additional tool space if you need it. But that's a good idea. Yeah, I agree. The question is, well, why would you use the glue? Well, like I said, it's going to make it a lot more stout, a lot stronger when you put it together. And most of this is made out of hardwood. I believe it's oak. I'm not sure. And it's got a nice finish on it, don't get me wrong. But I use the glue because there are pieces on here that are pressboard. It's not totally 100% all hardwood oak. So for those things that are pressboard and stuff, it just gives it that much more added strength. So anyway, I used it. I don't regret doing it, and the glue's cheap. Just get a really good glue, though. You can use Gorilla Glue. You don't have to use what I have. They don't sell Weld Bond out of the stores. So for me, it was a lot easier, just to go ahead and use what I had. But you can use CA glue, whatever you got. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, if I'm reading the question correctly anyway, why not build it yourself? You can build it to the exact dimensions and everything that you want. And okay, well, I'm going to paraphrase this. I think what you're asking is why not build it? It's going to cost you more. And you can easily take a look at any of the big box websites, put together a material list. Yes, you can custom make it to the exact same size. That's a benefit, but it's going to cost you a lot more. And it's going to cost you a lot more in time. If you priced out all the materials for this workbench right here, there's no way that you can make it for what they're selling it for. So if there's something on here that you don't like or you want to make stronger, you can. Now, if it was me and if it was going to be out in my garage, that bottom shelf right there has got no support in it except for that piece of plywood that sits on top of it. You could actually put like a spine in there, going crossways, like a couple of them, and drill and screw it into those side and back rails, and that would make this incredibly strong if you're putting things that are heavy down below. So you can modify this, and it's still going to be a lot cheaper than if you tried to build it yourself. So my advice is buy this. It's all pre-cut, assemble it, and then turn around and make your own modifications. That would be one of the modifications I would make. The other is the pegboard, and the other one, like I said, are the casters on it so you can move it around. I hope that answers your question. Let me move on. No, the question, doesn't it look really trashy inside of your house? No, I don't think so. I think that these have a really nice finish on them, somewhere between like a satin and semi-gloss. I don't know exactly what the finish was that they used, but it's a really nice, pretty finish. Does it look like a workbench in your house? Yes, but she has it in a secondary bedroom that's like a hobby room for her. So in there, it doesn't look out of place or anything else. I think it looks fine, and if you ever decide you don't want it in there, it's got, hopefully I'll get the casters on it in another day or so for her. She just pull it out and put it in her garage. She can use it out there, but no, it doesn't look that bad inside of your house, I don't think. Okay, let me see. What's next? Okay, the question is, you mentioned a drill. Why would I need a drill? Okay, the drawers I don't think are 100% pre-drilled like they should be. So my advice is make sure you have that drill with that clutch on there, because you're going to have to kind of help that pre-drilling on those drawers. The one thing you don't want to do is split this wood or start having problems. Now that's the only place I ran into an issue, is in and around the drawers, where I had to do a little bit more, let's just say pre-drilling of those holes before I put those screws into it. It's like re-drilling the pilot holes a little bit, and it's not going to hurt anything. What bit did I use? I used a 3/32. I did go out and look before I did this video, so I knew somebody would ask that question, like what's the best drill bit to use. I'm not going to tell you that it's the best, but I used a 3/32 because I read about these instructions being poor, and another individual that did it, he used a 3/32. I thought, hey, that's a good idea. I'm going to go with what he did, and it worked perfectly fine for me. So 3/32, re-drill the pilot holes. This thing will go together smoothly for you. On the pre-drilling, no, they're Phillips. What you're going to have Phillips screws when you assemble this, and you're going to have the regular flats. So you need a Phillips screwdriver, a standard screwdriver, a hex wrench, and it comes with it, but it's a cheesy one. You could do it. You could, yeah, okay, you can use the one that comes with it, but I've got better hex wrenches, and a lot of people, the same thing, they've got better ones. So if you don't have one, don't worry about it. The one that comes with it will work fine, but definitely use the drill with a clutch on it. Okay, let's move on. Okay, on the drilling and assembly, no, on the lower shelves down below, that's 1/2-inch particle board. So, like I told you, you can make a spine for it. I mean, that's all you need. You don't need to run out and buy another sheet of 3/4 plywood or anything like that. No, you can get by with the particle board. There's nothing wrong with it. I was just suggesting, if you were putting things heavy down there, you can actually put cross members. It's a 2x4. Actually, I measured it. You could use a 2x4 perfectly. You could put, like, let's say 2 more cross members down there, like spines or what have you, and that would super strengthen that bottom shelf. That's all I was suggesting. If you're not going to put anything heavy down there, don't bother with it. It looks fine just the way it is, and it functions great. Next question. Did I have any problems with the joints? No. All of these joints, this thing went together perfectly fine. I was actually really surprised, because I thought, this, as cheap as this thing is, I mean, yeah, it looks pretty and stuff, it's probably another one of these junky ass projects. And actually, no, it's not. It's actually, I was very surprised when I was done at the quality of it. It's not the best, no. I would buy it again, yes. It's nice. I mean, it's surprisingly a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and it would make a heck of a nice workbench. Okay, any more questions? Let's take a look. Well, I already told you my thoughts on the cost of it. Look, you can't make it for this. It's 5 feet by 1.6 or 1.5 feet. If you wanted to, yeah, I suppose you could put a sheet of plywood on top of here, make it a little bit bigger if that's what you needed to. But if you don't need this, this added area or whatever, because I don't know, maybe you could still drill and secure vices on top of this or whatever equipment that you want. Now, those dogs that are on there, those vertical pieces up on top, somebody complained that, well, if you're doing any work there, those holes go all the way through and you get a drawer full of dust. Okay, I haven't done it on hers, but it's like, come on. The easiest solution here is you can just tack a little piece of wood on the underneath side. Dogs will still set in there from the top. You won't get the debris down into it. I mean, these things are all prefabricated and, in mass production. If that's your only complaint, there's only 2 of them, and it's easy to plug the holes on the underneath side so you don't get debris down into the drawer. So no, I don't consider that a big deal, and it's not something that I would make a negative comment about, because it's an easy modifiable thing. Okay, let's take a look and wrap this up. Yeah, I know, but this, okay, here we go on this review thing again. I don't like a lot of the reviews. It doesn't matter if it's Amazon or if it's Harbor Freight. I don't know if these guys, like I keep saying, get paid for reviews or what, but they sit and boast all the time. This is the greatest thing. You got to buy this, oh my God, this is so wonderful. And some of these things I bought, they're total crap. And I sit there and think, why do you tell people that? I mean, why don't you just come out and say, look, the thing's a piece of junk and this is what I did to modify it, and now it works fine. Or don't buy this, that's that. But quit trying to convince people to buy something that's a piece of crap. I go through all this, and I belong to a couple of forums. I've said this before in the past, and I ask people, and there's always people out there somewhere that when we all get in forum or we all get to chit-chatting, they will give you their honest opinions on all this stuff. So I write this stuff down, or I look at it while I'm talking to you folks on here, and I bring you everything that they're telling me, because I want before you go out and buy stuff like this, like everybody else, I want good, honest reviews. I don't want things that are made up for brownie points, because you're trying to boost the company and maybe they gave you something for free or I don't know. But some of this stuff, no, I don't believe it. So what I do is, yes, I read the reviews, but I don't put a lot of weight in them. I go over, like I said, I belong to a couple of forums, and if I can ahead of time before I even do these videos, I go in and I ask people, they give me their thoughts, they tell me what they think, and I go from there. Okay, so the drawers, you asked me a question about, well, they're lined with felt. So it's kind of nice. They give you the felt. They're lined. Yeah. You have to take your time, and I think everybody would agree with this, where you spend the most of your time is the drawers. The rails have to be put in totally correct in order for these drawers to go in correctly and open and close like they should. All of the complaints about a lot of this are focused in and around the drawers. So on these videos that I keep referring to back on YouTube, watch them. They will save you an enormous headache, because there were some things I was a little surprised about and that I learned from watching the video. And you sit and you can watch it in small blocks as you put this thing together. And you go, oh, okay, hey, that's a good idea, or wow, I didn't know that. And it tells you, when to assemble them. Some people assemble them right away when they get it out of the box, and they, ignore the instructions, or they ignore what somebody's telling them. And no, you shouldn't put them together necessarily right away and zap these rails in right away. It's a little bit better if you wait a little bit later on in the installation, and you'll see why as you do this, or why in the video. So that's my advice on that. Somebody said, okay, what do you think of this overall? I give it 2 thumbs up. I would buy it again, definitely. Like I said, you can't make it for this. It's a damn good sturdy workbench, or a hobby bench for inside of your house. So I have no problem in the review telling people, yeah, if you follow what I told you here and you do, take that video advice with you, you're going to have yourself a really nice workbench, and that vise on there works perfectly fine. It's good for what it's intended for, and you can add whatever you want to the top of it. Okay, that's it. This is a wrap. This is the Home Handyman. You folks have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video. And I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. If you have a better workbench that you've bought and it's cheaper, or you have a better deal somewhere, drop a comment. Other folks can follow it. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.